so I have a lot of things that I want to talk about with you guys today, and excuse me for the whole beginning of that. I'm not sure if I'll be able to edit that out or not when I get started on that. But either way, I've got a lot on the agenda and a lot of things that I want to tell you guys. For starters, there is a ton of censorship going on with, well, pretty much YouTube, Google, Facebook, and the like. They've all just kind of gone haywire on us. So there's a lot of things that I want to bring up in regards to that. Now, here's a couple of things. A lot of YouTubers, they've cut our pay by a good 90%. No joke. And there is no foretelling what they're going to do in the future. They might open up and say, well, all these particular extremists are blacklisted. That could include me. It could include multiple others. But here's the thing. If they start doing that to us, they're going to do it across the board. They're going to do it to you. They're going to do it to multiple others. So I'm going to keep an eye out on some of that censorship that is rising and just kind of give it to you as you go. Now, I'm also going to be periodically checking the room there, and I think I've got my phone. So Rhonda, if there are any questions that come through, just text me and I'll get them on here, and I think she sent one. Hold on. Okay. Violet wants to know what's going on. All right, Violet. Well, there's a lot going on, and I'm going to flip the screen now that you guys kind of have an idea of the censorship, but you're going to have to work with me on this one. All right, cool. Here we go. So you can see I redid my screen here. Made it a little better from yesterday because there's some stuff that got added, specifically in regards to, well, Japan. We have another player in this game here. So, all right. So what is going on? Here we got it. I think I got it. Got the screen. Got the screen. Yeah. All right. So here's what I have. Yesterday, you guys, or in one of my prior videos, you've probably seen this little number and the whole thing come up there. So hopefully you can see it pretty good. But just to kind of give you a nutshell, what is going on here. There we go. All right. Sorry. Okay, there we go. But just to kind of give you an idea of what's happening here, I've got a few things in play. First, we have Trump in America, and I'm just going to recap for those who don't know. But we have the Democratic left calling Russia agent, Trump a Russian agent, calling patriots a Russian agent. This is kind of the start of it, where it all began. And so as a result, Trump sees an opportunity to, I guess, bomb Syria here, which I'm not excited about because I don't believe Assad really bombed his people. There's no rhyme or reason why he would do that. So the bombs were sent to Syria, and as a result, we pissed off Russia and Iran, who then sends a ship in the ocean to say, hey, if you, America and Donald Trump, want to send more troops or bombs to Syria, well, we're gonna do something about that, and we're not happy. Well, I beg that maybe Trump is doing this to a show of force, number one, to China, because he met with China right before then, and also a show of force maybe to the Democratic left that he's not really a Russian agent after all. I don't know. Or we could be looking at World War III kind of type scenario, and it's already playing out. I think we're kind of in the beginning of that already. But here we have it. And then, and I know I'm trying to recap, but I'm trying to recap quickly as I can. So now we have this whole situation. We have three different things. We have the rebel, ISIS, and Assad here playing in Syria. We know that it's likely the ISIS radicals who are the ones that are involved. We have, now we have Donald Trump, regardless of what Russia did, and Russia's buddy is Iran. They're working together on this, and they're both mad at America, but Russia sends troops. You can see my little troops here. These are American troops. And I'll try to get a more better image for you guys, but they send troops to Syria, and the numbers vary 2 to 4 to over thousands of troops. I'm not sure. All the reports were different. Now, moving over to our latest fiasco, North Korea. Here we have North Korea. Hopefully you can see that there. But North Korea has been sending missile tests up in the air over and over again. Well, this pisses off Trump. Pisses off everybody. So Donald Trump sends a ship into the ocean and says, hey, we're going to shoot those out of the sky if you send those up again. Then China says, okay, we're buddy-buddy here. Okay, we don't have no kind of alliance or anything. We're just buddy-buddying on North Korea here. You can see friends, US, maybe move this up. But the friends of the US right now, I guess, would be, we have US and Japan are friends, and then US and China are friends in regards to North Korea. So we are just kind of buddying up to attack North Korea. However, China is a known buddy of North Korea, but that stopped when the new president, Yi, if you will, got in charge, because he's not that fond of North Korea there. So there you have that. But then China sends 150,000 some odd troops into or near the North Korean border as a show of force. Donald Trump just told China, I believe today, that look, if you don't do something about North Korea, we will kind of, you make that action now or else. So that's what's going on here. Now, keep in mind, we have, you know, communist China and basically the same, and communism there in North Korea, if you will, two dictators. But here's the thing, these people have been friends for a while until the new president got in charge. But does North Korea have any friends? And that's kind of the next one here. Does North Korea have any friends? If we go to war, what's going to happen if America ever did bomb North Korea? Is somebody going to come to their aid? Well, turns out Russia, the bear, kind of likes North Korea. However, they are against the war with America. They don't want America to go to war with North Korea. They don't want that, supposedly, but they are buddies with North Korea, as it says. Today in the news, this is new, we had Russia send some planes, if you will, or jets, or let me pull up the bombers of some sort. I'll leave it in the link below so you have the actual information there. But they sent over, I believe it was 6 different, let me grab my list. 6 Russian bombers that flew in the airspace of Japan, kind of like a threat to Japan. Now keep in mind, Japan and America are allies. We are friends. So why would Russia go after Japan now? Good thing, you know, it's what's going on. And so they've sent their military planes in the sky, and in retaliation, Japan put theirs in the sky. So, you know, to kind of watch for some kind of bombing scenario and make sure that there wasn't going to be an all-out fallout. And I'm sure it has something to do with North Korea here. So now we have 7 people in play on what is going on in the world. And I know that's a bit of a loaded thing there, but look, it's tensions are continually rising, and we're continuing to get more countries at play there. All right, so Rhonda, I have another question. I don't know why Putin wants to sit in with Tillerson all of a sudden. Those are one of those things. I'm sure that it has something to do with everything that's going on here. I mean, the dictators are gonna have to talk, because this is just an ugly mess. This is crazy when Japan is now even in the mix, and I'm sure a lot of you guys agree with that as well. So if you have more questions, send those in the chat room and she'll get those. So I'm gonna just kind of let you guys look at that without me in the way. But we also have here, and I forgot to bring that up, but you can't see it. We have Russia and Iran and Syria are friends. China is a friend of Syria, but like I said, Yi, the new president there, is not too fond of the leader there in North Korea, and he doesn't want war with America, but that's as it sits. So, but look, this is similar to something we would see in World War I, World War II, now we're looking at World War III, but we're seeing some of the major players here, and we haven't even gotten into more countries in the Middle East. So there you have that. Let me flip back around. This is awesome. Anyway, and as far as the UK stance on North Korea, I know one of you asked that, you know, I'm not, let me see. I believe that they're not for the war. They don't want that at all. But I think they're kind of siding with America on that, but I'm not 100%. I have to look that up. But I know that they don't have, well, North Korea doesn't have diplomatic relationships with us, that's for sure. So That's where that is sitting at this time. So let me go back over to the chat room, wherever that was at. All right. April 17th. What is, let me see, what is the significance of April 17th? I'm not sure. 107th day of the year on the Gregorian calendar. Well, Easter's on the 16th. I don't know of any particular thing or event going on the 17th, but you can leave me comments on it and information on it. I'd love to look it up. That would be for that question. I think she's sending another one as we speak too. Another thing that I really wanted to show you guys that I thought was very important is a report that I found on naturalnews.com, and let me just link it in the comment section here so you guys can see it, see what I'm talking about here. There you go. Okay, but this is 28 nuclear reactors all across the country. And when we take that into consideration with everything I showed on the board, you know, as far as the world and what's going on with the world and what's going on with that, you know, there is a lot to think about there, because, you know, when you have this many reactors, and not only that, but they're located, a lot of the times they're located under places of earthquakes or where they can break, kind of like we saw with Fukushima. So I want to just kind of throw that in there and let you guys come on that. But I left a link in there. I thought that was a crucial one to share as well. And another one that I wanted to share is a Pew report, however you want to say it. I'm going to link that too. There we go. All right, so you guys will have that in the chat room. And I'll leave it below for all you YouTubers so you have a link. But there's a new report that Christians are harassed in 128 nations. I wonder why, given the scenario, wars and rumors of wars, that's something that the Bible talks about repeatedly. We have all of that. And, you know, when Christians are being persecuted and nobody's doing anything about it, well, that rings up a few alarm bells for me. And you know, there is a thing in America, it's called the Countries of Particular Concern list, a CPC list, in which the United States of America monitors you know, what happens worldwide on persecution. Well, I would love to see included in that, what about more journalism persecution? I mean, that you don't see a lot of attention brought to Christian persecution. You see it to Muslim persecution, but not Christianity. Why is that so pushed under the rug? And I think the reason being is because, quite frankly, we're living in the latter times. I mean, we're not obviously in the tribulation period at this time, but in the Bible, it does say that we will get persecuted, you know, for his name's sake. And I think that's something that we see coming about. But I thought that report was very, very interesting and one that you would like to see. But it lists, you know, the 128 countries. I don't want to go through them all. Obviously, it's a very lengthy list, but one of those things are definitely happening. Now, I had a question in regards to the economy. Well, I put out a report the other day about the economy, and, you know, that's the reason that countries go to war. Some of our wars were not won militarily, but they were won economically. That's the truth. And so when we're looking at a war, we've been kind of an economic superpower for some time, and I think that is something that's solidified America. Well, now we're kind of losing that. $20 trillion in debt now. We're over to 20 now. I know Donald Trump is bringing some jobs back to America, but look, we're trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. This is why I tell everybody, we don't know if inflation or deflation is going to hit, but get silver, you know, get gold, silver, what you can get, you know, because a lot of these things are going to hold their value more than the dollar will, because you just don't know. And here's, you know, here's just a sample of my gold coin here. It's kind of cool little case. I like it. When I got it, I told my kids it came from the president. They believed me for a second, but obviously, what do you do? I just thought it was funny. But make sure you're stocked with gold and silver. I use Noble Gold because that's who I trust. I do not trust all the gold and silver and there's precious metals. I know you can turn your 401k or IRA to a Roth IRA. You can do that through that organization. I would highly recommend it, and it's something that I do. But economically speaking, I know the stocks have just been crazy and going haywire altogether. So that's another thing that we really need to be watching on. So let me see if there's more questions. Go ahead and send those in. But other things that I had. Matthew 24, yep, it does speak about the rise of nation against nation and ethnic group against ethnic group. That's another biblical prophecy where it's just, talking on that. Can you do a quick recap on the map and what's going on, Melissa? I just did it at the very beginning of this video. If you go back and scroll to the beginning, I've got a recap, and I've even added Japan on there. So interesting thing there. But I think we're going to add more players to that map. I don't think it's going to stop at now 7 countries we're looking at, but it's going to continue to go. And can you roll your 401k into gold? I don't know without being taxed. That would be a question. Call Noble Gold and ask them. They would be able to answer that as well. So that's what I have kind of on the radar for today. But I do see a lot of things playing out, prophetically, Bible prophecy, wars, rumors of wars. Christian persecution is on the rise. It's not declining. I wish I could come on here and say Christian persecution is going down, but it's not. And so my heart is, pray for people. And Donald Trump, look, he's on the fence. I know people like Donald Trump. People hate Donald Trump. People want on the Trump train. People want off the Trump train. If we're going to get in the topic of Donald Trump, he's got a lot of good and bad people around him. And unfortunately, I think it's more bad than good at times. And there is blackmail going on. There are all kinds of games like that the government does and can play. So that's something that you need to watch out for too. That's something that we have to be aware of as far as Trump is concerned. There are cards that they're playing, and that there are, things happening within his administrations, things I'm not going to like. Things I agree with some of his stuff, and I don't agree with other of his things. I think he's doing some amazing things over here, but over here I'm pissed as hell. So that's where I sit at this time, and just to kind of give you a brief rundown on that. All right, so other questions. Do I think Russia will attack America? Great question. Let me make sure this isn't cutting off. All right, yeah, great question. I don't know. I think that the globalists want Russia to attack America 100%. If not, they wouldn't be calling truth people who are just sharing truth a Russian agent. They wouldn't have made the organization Propaganda or Not. It's a website that specifically labels pretty much everybody who is telling truth as a Russian agent. They wouldn't have done that. They wouldn't call Trump a Russian agent if this was something they had in the cards. So I think that the globalists and those pulling the strings want America to go to war with Russia. That said, there's also Dmitry Duduman, who has a prophecy, and I think it's Henry Gruver. I think it's those two. And there may be others who talk about a war with Russia in which they attack our coastline. Could that prophecy come out to play in the very near future? Absolutely, it could. I know that's what the globalists want, but I don't think that's what Donald Trump wants. And that's not what I want. That's not what the American people want. But it's something that I think should be considered in that manner. Do I like chicken? Yes, I eat all kinds of meat. Not in that manner. Okay, let me rephrase that. I like steak and chicken and pork. I'm not gonna say that because that's not gonna be good. Okay, I like meat. I'm from the South, so yes, I'm a meat eater. What do I think about, I don't think that question came through. Okay, what did Assad gain by gassing Syria? Assad doesn't gain anything to gas his own people. That's why I think it's a false flag. The pictures that they're providing, there's pictures floating around the internet that are, of these gas. Oh, look, there's all the evidence outside the airbase. No, I'm sorry, but if you were going to commit a crime, you would not leave the evidence out in the open. I wouldn't. I mean, really, who would do that? So I can't imagine that Assad would do that. So I don't think that he gassed his people. That's my personal take. That's why I scream false flag on that. He's actually helped many Christians in the area. Now I got to do some more digging onto that, but that might be something that you guys want to look into, because remember, Christian persecution is huge in this day and age. And knowing the Christian persecution end of it, and knowing what's going on with Assad, these are absolutely things that need to be watched. Is George Soros behind all this? Yeah, I think he's behind a lot of it. Yeah, I can't stand the guy. He's a creep, to say one thing, but he's part of the deep state. And I didn't add my deep state on my map. I gotta add that. But yeah, the deep state, they're pulling everything from behind the scenes. We know the CIA, the State Department is working with Al-Qaeda, ISIS, whatever the heck you want to name them these days. They constantly change the names. They're working with the radical Islam to accomplish the agenda of chaos, if you will, so everybody can scream into the loving arms of the New World Order, because that's what they want. I don't want no New World Order. You don't want no New World Order, because it never, ever, ever turns out right. And God says that it's not going to be pretty when they implement this New World Order. So I want it off as far as possible. I want it as far away. If we can hold off generations on this thing, then that would just be a good thing here. So I'll probably let this go for just 4 or 5 more minutes. We'll kind of try to close at around 11:30. So if you have those questions, go ahead and send them in. Do I support public schools is the next question here. And my answer is, gosh, I homeschooled my children for 9 years. This is the very first year I put them in school, but I put them in a private school. Now, my son, we adopted from the country of Bulgaria. He's actually half Turkish. He's Turkish Roma mix, but he was in Bulgaria because Turkey back in the day invaded Bulgaria, and therefore the Turkish presence is there in Bulgaria. So that's my son. And because he's got additional, when we adopted him, he's about 2 years behind his physical mental age, and his speech is behind, because he spoke Bulgarian and not English. So I kind of had to put him in the public school for additional help, additional aid, and it's actually been really good. But there is a lot of brainwashing in the public schools. So if you have to put him in the public schools, there's charter schools options, public school, they're almost the same now on that level. But if you have to put them in the public schools, please educate them on propaganda. Please, because propaganda is the #1 tool in school. So my advice is, if you need to, look, everybody can't homeschool. That's a fact. I homeschooled, gave them a good solid foundation, and now I've sent them. But you just need to educate them. When you're watching TV, hey, that's propaganda. Look at this scene on the movie here. And, I think I was watching Designated Survivor, and the wife there had this whole gun scene where she was against guns, and they made like a 10-minute clip out of it. And so I'm sitting there with my children, propaganda, look at these idiots, blah, blah, blah. I had a lot to say, but that's what they were doing. It was straight up propaganda to say guns are bad, blah, 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 blah. And this is what your kids are soaking in. So teach them all about that. All right, moving on. Betsy DeVoice, I'm sorry. I know I don't like her. I don't like Betsy DeVoice. Look, she says she's against Common Core, but she's been an advocate of Common Core before, and so she's wishy-washy. So I will like Betsy DuBois when she stands up and flippin' does something like gets rid of communist core. Communist core has a lot of propaganda in it. So make sure you look over your kids' homework when they bring that home. It's in their grammar. It's in everything. So get rid of that, Betsy DuBois, and I will support you all the way. What are they hiding with the chemtrails? Well, that's a whole speech on itself. Chemtrails, and I've just got a couple minutes here. I don't know if I want to start that whole topic, but obviously it's linked to depopulation. They don't want people to know that they're dumbing us down, fluoride in the water, chemtrails in the skies. Look, I've got a stack of papers this big. I've done a report on it. Just go on my YouTube channel, click interview chemtrails, and they'll come up. White fibers will even come up. And I show the actual documents of all the chemtrails, the blood work that people have done, but there's aluminum, strontium, barium, absolutely in these things. And it limits the age, the sterilization. There's a whole agenda, but the agenda in a nutshell is depopulation. Do I think Syria was warned before being bombed? Good question. I think since they just took out the airbase, I know that Russia was warned, absolutely. So Russia was warned to get out of the area by Donald Trump, and they could have obviously told some of the pedestrians in the area as well. But the airbase itself, I don't think was, obviously, because people did die. So, all right. I think that's it. That's all the time I have, so I can at least keep it to 30 minutes here. This was my first official, I guess, Google live stream hangout. Maybe I'll do some more in the future there, but kind of cool, different. So it's fun. The first time I did it, I couldn't figure out how to get my mouth to match my words, but I think I've got it. So anyhow, please make sure you check out Noble Gold and get stocked and ready with gold. All the information is in the link below. I have the link. You just click on that link in that dialog box, or you could call them and just let them know you heard about it on my program here. Also, getthetea.com. You guys know I love his stuff. But the D365, my favorites are that and the tea, obviously, which I always show. You guys know that. And anybody who uses that knows that that's good as hell, if you will. It's some good stuff. Just don't overdo it. But anyhow, I want to say thank you guys. And one last thing, thank you guys for supporting me here on YouTube. And with all the censorship, I'm also opening a Patreon account. I'm going to leave information below. I don't know if I put it in there. I'll have to add it after the show. But I do have a Patreon account because, like I said, YouTube is cut me by 90%. I might stop that in the future. But for now, that's something that I think we're going to have to do in order to keep doing what I'm doing. And eventually, I want to hire more journalists to kind of help me. Right now, I'm only me, and I definitely need help. But at this time, YouTube's got everybody making less than minimum wage on their thing. So I'm going to start that Patreon account. So you can check that out also. Anyhow, well, thanks again for tuning in. This is Lisa signing out.